All right, so you're working on something really cool, right? Something like self-driving cars or maybe even robots.
Yeah.
And you need someone special, a sensor fusion developer.
Mm-hmm.
But what exactly do they do?
Well, think of it this way. All those sensors, LiDAR, radar, the cameras, even GPS,
Right.
they're like instruments in an orchestra.
Ooh, I like
A
that.
sensor fusion developer, they're the conductor.
Ah, so they make sure everything works together perfectly.
Exactly. They take all that data and create a complete picture.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
So if I need to hire one of these sensor fusion developers, where do I even begin? I mean, this is pretty specialized stuff.
It is, but theperfectdeveloper.com can really help.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
They've got a ton of resources, even this 5 questions tool that can get you started.
Yeah, that sounds super useful.
It is. It is.
But before we set everyone over there, maybe we can answer a few quick questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so first things first. What exactly is the difference between a sensor fusion developer and just a regular software developer?
That's a great question.
I mean, they're both writing code, right?
Yeah, but sensor fusion developers need a whole other level of expertise.
Okay, like what?
They need to understand things like signal processing, data fusion techniques.
Right.
They have to know about the hardware,
I see.
and they got to be really good at math, really good.
So it's not just about knowing how to code, it's about understanding all the nuances of these
You
sensors
got it.
and how to make them work together in real time.
Exactly, and that's not easy.
No, I can imagine. And
Uh,
with all this demand for sensor fusion developers,
mm-hmm.
I bet their salaries are pretty impressive.
You're not wrong about that.
So what's the going rate these days?
Well, it depends on a few things, like experience and location, of course.
Of course.
But theperfectdeveloper.com, they've got some numbers in their guide.
Oh, that's helpful.
In the US, for someone with a few years under their belt, you're probably looking at somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 a year.
Wow, that's a pretty nice salary.
It is.
What about in Europe?
Over there, it's more like 50,000 to 90,000 euros.
Okay, and Asia.
Asia, it can range from $30,000 to $70,000.
Okay, so those are some pretty solid numbers to keep in mind.
Definitely.
Now, let's say I'm ready to take the plunge and hire a sensor fusion developer.
All right.
Should I be thinking full-time, part-time, maybe build a whole team, or even outsource the whole thing? What are the things I need to be thinking about here?
Well, theperfectdeveloper.com has some great advice on this too.
Oh, they really do have everything.
There's no one right answer. It all depends on your project, you know?
Right.
If you've got something big and complex, like developing a whole self-driving system,
Oh, wow.
then yeah, full-time makes sense.
Makes sense.
But if it's a smaller project or you're just starting out, maybe part-time is the way to go. And outsourcing, well, that can be great if you need a very specific skill set and can't find it locally.
Ah, makes sense.
So it really comes down to what your project needs and what your budget allows.
So before we move on, I just want to remind everyone to check out that 5 questions tool over at theperfectdeveloper.com.
It's a good one.
It's a great way to figure out exactly what you need in a sensor fusion developer.
Yep.
And then they can help you find the right person for the job.
Exactly.
Okay, so now that we've covered the basics, let's dive a little deeper into the world of sensors.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Okay, so we keep talking about all these different sensors, LiDAR, radar, cameras.
Hmm.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of each? I mean, they all seem pretty high-tech.
They are. It's like building a toolkit for perception.
Oh, yeah.
LiDAR, that's like your high precision ruler.
A ruler.
Well, it uses lasers,
Oh, okay.
to create a 3D map of everything around it.
So it's really good at measuring distances and stuff.
Super accurate, yeah.
That makes sense for self-driving cars, right?
Absolutely. They need to know exactly where everything is.
So LiDAR is like the detailed map maker.
Exactly.
What about radar then? How does that fit in?
Radar, that's like your all-weather friend.
Oh,
It works even when it's raining or foggy.
really?
Yep. It uses radio waves
Okay.
to detect objects and how they're moving.
So it's good at figuring out speed and direction.
That's its specialty.
So you've got LiDAR for precision, radar for tough conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess cameras are still important too, right?
Oh, definitely. Cameras are like the storytellers.
Storyteller.
Well, they give you all that visual information.
Right, for things like recognizing objects and staying in your lane.
Exactly, and they're a lot cheaper than some of the other sensors.
Okay, so we've got LiDAR, radar, cameras. But what about location? Doesn't GPS play a role too?
Absolutely. GPS is like your trusty compass.
Right, for knowing where you are.
But GPS, it can be a bit unreliable sometimes.
Yeah, I've noticed that, especially in cities.
Exactly. Tall buildings can mess with the signal.
So that's where sensor fusion comes in.
You got it.
Hmm.
By combining GPS with the other sensors, you get a much more reliable picture.
Oh, that's clever.
So it's all about using each sensor's strengths
Hmm.
and filling in the gaps.
To create a complete and accurate view of the world.
That's the goal.
But I imagine this is pretty complicated stuff, right?
It definitely has its challenges.
Like what?
Well, first of all, you've got this massive amount of data coming from all these different sensors.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
It's a constant flood of information.
And you have to make sense of it all in real time.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah, that sounds intense.
It is.
Are there any other challenges that make sensor fusion so difficult?
Oh, yeah. Another big one is making sure all the data is synced up properly.
Synced up.
Yeah, like calibrated and synchronized.
Oh, right. Because even a small error could mess everything up.
Exactly. It's like a delicate balancing act.
It makes sense. So what else?
Sensor noise and interference, those are big problems too.
Sensor noise. What's that?
Well, sensors aren't perfect. You know, they can pick up extra signals that can distort the data.
Ah, so it's like trying to have a conversation in a noisy room.
That's a great way to put it.
You have to filter out all the background noise.
Exactly. And that's what makes sensor fusion development so challenging, but also so rewarding.
So they need to be experts in signal processing, data analysis, and algorithm development.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique skill set.
And they have to be able to design systems that work in real time.
That's crucial.
Wow, it sounds like the unsung heroes behind a lot of the cool technology we have today.
I think so.
I mean, they're shaping the future of how machines perceive the world.
Absolutely. And it's only going to get more important.
So we've talked about the challenges, but what about the future of sensor fusion? What are you most excited about?
There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, like what's getting you really excited?
Well, one big trend is using AI, like deep learning.
Deep learning, that sounds pretty intense.
It is, but it's making sensor fusion even more powerful.
How so?
Well, with deep learning, the systems can actually learn from all that data.
So they get smarter over time.
Exactly. More accurate, more robust, able to handle even more complex situations.
That's incredible. Anything else on the horizon?
Oh yeah, sensors are getting smaller all the time.
So we're not just talking about cars anymore.
Nope, think drones, wearables, all kinds of things.
Wow, sensor fusion really is changing the world.
It is. It's an exciting field to be in.
It sounds like it. Okay, so let's switch gears for a minute.
Okay.
Let's say I'm ready to hire a sensor fusion developer.
All right.
What are some red flags I should watch out for? I mean, it's such a specialized field.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
So what would make you think twice about a candidate?
One big one is lack of experience with real systems.
Right, they need to have actually built something.
Exactly. It's not enough to just know the theory. Be wary of someone who talks a big game but can't back it up with real projects.
So ask them about their past work, the challenges they faced.
Yeah, see if they can really apply their knowledge.
It's like the difference between reading a cookbook and actually baking a cake.
Exactly. You need someone who can handle the heat of the kitchen, so to speak.
That's a great analogy.
Look, finding the right sensor fusion developer is a big deal.
It is.
It takes time and effort.
Right.
But don't be afraid to ask tough questions. Trust your gut.
And of course, there's always theperfectdeveloper.com.
They can be a huge help connecting you with the right people.
Yeah, they're like a matchmaking service for developers.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of sensor fusion developers. I feel like I've learned so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
And to our listeners, if you're thinking about hiring a sensor fusion developer, or any kind of developer for that matter, head over to theperfectdeveloper.com. They've got a ton of resources, including that 5 questions tool we mentioned.
It's a great place to start.
It really is. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See ya.